Greetings. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to Earground New Voices Amplified. My name is Plot Mark and welcome to the program that brings different artists from time to time, but not only artists in terms of music, but we touch on all the facets of the creative industry. And today we'll be talking about books, we'll be talking about publishing, and I'm joined by an esteemed guest, somebody that inspires me quite a lot. I've seen him do a lot of initiatives in schools and communities in Zimbabwe, and now he's based in the States. And welcome to Earground, Terence.
Thank you, my brother Plot. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. To begin with, you grew up in Mutare, right?
That's correct.
What was your childhood like, growing up in Mutare?
Wow, Mtare is a very beautiful place, and growing up in that place was just a great experience for me. I was actually, when we moved to Mtare when I was like, I guess, 5 years old,
Yeah.
and we had been around, how it is when you go place to place. But most of the time I was in Mutare and I attended Mutare Junior School,
Okay.
where I met some of my long life friends now, been together since then. And I moved to Merriest. Uh, it was quite a good experience there. I think that's where most of this the project on the book, that's where it was pretty much built, although it did start in at Mutare Junior. So my experience has been amazing. I'm grateful for my upbringing, and it made me who I am today.
And what do you remember the most about Mutare? What sort of memories come into your head?
Yeah. Wow, there's a lot that happens in. I mean, it's a quiet place. Not, I mean, if you compare to Harare, it's a quiet place, but there's a lot that has happened. And growing up, the usual stuff that young kids would be enjoying, playing Borare Weshe.
Yes.
I remember those times. I remember, you know, fighting with my mom, wanting to go watch movies
Yeah.
in the one movie house in Mutare.
And it's very sad because the movie house is since shut down for a couple of years now.
Well, yeah, that's pretty sad. I mean, we really hope for better things to happen in that place.
Yeah. Great. And you moved to Harare at a later stage, right? And then I remember the first time that we got in touch, you were running a project, ZW Teams. For the benefit of the viewers, they might want to know what that project was about. But this is a program where I saw Tammy Moyo performing for the first time. You brought in Tammy to perform when she was a kid, like in the primary
Yeah,
school.
she was like, what, Form 1 or Form 2, thereabouts. Yeah. But
She was a
yeah,
kid, but you had already seen the star again today.
oh, thanks to RK. I mean, he was very supportive, and he made it happen. And like you asked, ZW Teens, an organization that started in 2010, just looking at Zimbabwean teenagers.
Yes.
So we were just looking at giving the teens life skills, helping them out in terms of giving a future for them. When they start working out in terms of careers,
Yes.
leadership, and all those different facets of life. Teenagehood is a period where most of the things are instilled in people. So what you come out with as a teenage, pretty much you're going to have the rest of your life. So we need to make sure that they are shaped in the right way. So that's a project that we were working with, and I had good support. I worked with a young man called Kudzi Machona,
Yes.
and he's still in Zimbabwe right now, and he's still working on that. And we have gone through a couple of projects in terms of what I can say is we were mainly looking at giving a platform through expos, which will be like teen expos where we bring
Yes.
different people in the like education, health, all those different areas. They would come in, and then the school children will come and just talk to them and see what happens. I would say our first one was in Harare Gardens,
Yes.
and it was a really great one. We had support from quite a number of organizations, even some that are outside Zimbabwe. But the one you're referring to, where we met Plot, is
Yes.
one we did at Celebration
Celebration
Center.
Center. Yes.
Yes, and that's when I met the Jubilika guy.
Yes. And thank you
Yeah.
so much for the opportunity.
No, I mean, when I look at it, it's I'm grateful that you came on board, because what you represent is something that the teens were like crazy about. And when you brought your guys, I think I still have that video when they were doing the
Uh,
Winky D song.
yes.
Yeah, and then Tammy, oh my God! I mean, when
Yes.
she performed, I was like, wow, this kid is amazing.
True.
I'm happy that she's doing great things now. She's such a success. I follow her, and I like her music. Yeah.
Wow. But how do you feel looking at some of the success stories? I know you've mentioned Tammy, and I should also mention some of the dancers that came through to the platform then. Then you look at them now, some of them are amazing creators, some of them are filmmakers, photographers, and stuff. They definitely benefited from that platform. But I know you possibly have more young people that have passed through your platform and have gone on to do so well. What does that make you feel?
It. I really am grateful. You know that this platform helped in a way some people to go pursue their dreams and do great things in life. I have. I don't know if you remember. There was this poem that went viral. Tangoti Tionesane, by a young man called Shingi.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that was it. I was at W Teens event
Wow. I
in
remember that.
Mutare. Yeah, and when it went viral, I was like, wow. But that kid is just gone places now. I follow him on social media, and he's doing great things. And his name is Shingirai Manyengawana.
Yeah.
He's doing great. And I have a couple of other people as well that. Also follow their journey. Some have gone to study in China.
Yeah.
Some are doing all those great things. And it was just a little interaction that we had. But if it helped them in a way, I'm happy. So that's all that we want to do in ZW Teens, just to give them a platform to be heard out there and then move on and do great and mighty things.
And now you migrated, you've left Zimbabwe, you're now based in the States. What happened to the initiative? Did it die with the move, or is it still running up to now?
So yeah, I had to move to come to the United States, and with the transition, there is a bit of a lag that happens in terms of the plans that you have.
Yeah.
So I would say there are greater things that are coming for ZW Teens, and we are looking. It's now like amplified because
Mhm.
what I've seen even here in the United States, we have ZW Teens here, we have Zim Teens here as well, and
Correct.
we we are working on a project where we can then bring that to life and just make sure that every Zimbabwean talent,
Yes.
whilst they are still in their teens, we give them a platform. Yes, so yeah, you'll be hearing from me, and we'll be working on something that helps the teens.
Wow, definitely, I'm looking forward to that. Uh, but the reason why we connected today is mainly because of your recent release. You've got a book, and I'm not going to preempt much about it. But could you tell us about the book that you just released?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I recently published a book. It's called Darkest in Dawning, Merriest in Morning. It's a collection of poetry that I have been writing really since I was in 7th grade.
Wow.
That was when I wrote my first poem. I was in grade 7 in Tumtare Junior School.
Okay.
And I would say I've just been carrying on writing and compiling, and then the platform just came through for me to publish. And yeah, I'm super excited.
Wow. And looking at the poems that you've written in that book, what's the basic or the general message that you're trying to convey?
Oh, yeah. So if you look at the title, Darkest in Dawning, Merriest in Morning, it's just showing a, a gradual change that happens. This is really from the Bible, Psalm 30, verse 5, where David is talking about things that are happening, but he's saying all those bad things that are happening, they can just last but for a night, and then joy comes in the morning. So that's also what I'm looking at and saying we all go through different situations in life. And at times you feel like there's nothing out there for you. But it's just that moment where we're saying it just lasts for a night, but your joy is really coming. So we need to continue to have hope, to be expectant, to believe, and to keep our heads high. That's one of the poems too.
Wow, great. But how has been the response so far since you released the book?
So since I've released the book, I've had quite a good response here in America. People are excited, and like my nature is more like a quiet guy.
Yes.
Uh, Most people don't even know like what's happening, what's going on with me. So they're like, "You do this?" I'm like, "I've been doing this for years."
Same as me.
Yeah.
When I was watching your interview the other day last week, and I was like, wow, because you've always been very reserved, very calm. But then I said, wow, this is quite impressive because I never thought you were a writer, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's. I guess it's. I play my cards close to the chest.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's something that I've always been doing, and if I can just tell you, mate, the how I really got started into writing poetry.
Yes,
In We had this competition called the Allied Arts Competition back in
yes,
Zimbabwe.
I
Yes,
remember it. Yeah.
so yeah, so when I was in grade 7, that's when I entered. I wrote my first poem, really, in and my teacher, her name is Maimuto.
Yeah.
When she saw the poem, she was super excited, like, oh, wow, this is amazing. I read it in front of the class, and everyone, they were happy. I was using a lot of rhyming, and she said, let's go see the headmaster.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's Mr. Mandimotsira. He was a great man, and he shaped us when we were that young. But when he read the poem, he didn't have that same excitement as my teacher. Yeah, he was
But
more calm, and
yeah,
but he then told me stuff that like was amazing. He just encouraged me, and he pointed out a few places where I needed to change in the poem, and I did change that, and my poem ended up getting a third place in the Allied Arts competition, and that was the birthing of the poet, Terence the poet. Yeah.
wow.
And if you do a bit of research, Terence, that name is associated with poetry too. So I
And
guess it,
I know a couple of authors. I know of Terence Ranger.
yeah,
He was mentioned.
exactly.
Yes, I read
Yeah.
a lot of his books, and yeah. But your family, any of your kids interested in poetry?
Oh wow! My kids, they are so different. I have three girls, Michaela, Melissa, and Marcia.
Yeah,
As we call them, Tashongedzwa, Tadisa, and
yeah.
Tamupaishe.
Ah, sweet.
Yeah, so they are so different, but I can tell that they have some interest in art, all three of them. Although it might not be at a level where I would say they can be doing some, I mean, like a career out of it. Maybe they will. So my first one, Tashonga, is well, she enjoys acting, modeling. Yeah, so she started a YouTube channel.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. We are just there to give them that encouragement
Support.
and support. Yes, but my second one, Tadisa, she's so much interested in like drawing. The, she can be watching a YouTube video where there's just abstract art. There is nothing, just uh, colors and just music. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's like I'm watching. I'm like, there's nothing there. But she can be there just watching. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's amazing. And the last one is Tamupai She.
Yes.
She's just like I don't know how to to explain her, but
Yes.
she has all these ideas. She says all these things like, where did you get that? She's only 5, and some of the things that she says, I'm like, where did you get that? And yeah, so if you watch or if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you see I have what I call Chronicles of Marcia. That's her.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
yeah, that's
I think I've seen one or two video clips. Cool. But why
yeah.
do you find it important to support your kids in terms of their passion? Because a lot of the young people growing up in Zimbabwe, you speak to them, and at most times they tell you that, oh, I had to do this, but apparently my parents were not in support of this. I had to really find my own way to do it. And I think it is still a struggle with some that parents do not approve what the kids want, but always want to prescribe for them. But you are very supportive of what your daughters are interested in. Why do you find this an important thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I would say my experience working with teens really molded me into becoming such a supportive parent like that. Because you know what has happened? Going through uh, talking to a number of these teens, you get to
Yes.
hear stories of how their parents were like, hey, you have to be a doctor. And
Mhm.
he or she wants to be like a singer or something different.
Yes.
But then there is that pressure. I recall one time uh, Dr. Charles Gauri, we worked with him some time, and he
Yes.
was explaining uh, of uh, of one of the teens. I
Yes.
think he wanted to do something like what do you call this? Accounting, but the parents wanted him to be a doctor. He went to use that day, and it was pretty bad. I mean, he also had this phobia for blood and stuff like that. It had to be a lot of counseling, and I understand now he's doing great as an accountant, a chartered accountant. I think I
Oh,
might have the the facts of the story incorrect, but hey, don't take it on me. But
okay.
that's what happens when parents come in and then enforce probably what they wanted to do, and they failed, or they
It's
did,
not-
and they want someone to follow their footsteps. But hey, this is a different human being. They have different passions that they're chasing, and I mean,
Yes.
you're just there to be a guide. You're just there to be a guide and help them move in the passion that they want. And these kids, they change. I mean, if I tell you, my eldest, at one time she was like, I want to be a pilot. For the longest time, she wanted to be a pilot, but now
Yes.
we don't hear anything about that.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting. Back to your book. Um,
yeah,
Zimbabwe is going through a very difficult time right now. And I don't know whether we should call it, the darkest dawning, or we're just in a darkness. Your book speaks of hope and speaks hope into situations where everything is still looking dark. What message comes from your book that goes to Zimbabweans, especially Zimbabweans that are living in Zimbabwe?
Okay. So the first thing I would say, if, like I said, the title is coming from the Bible, and most of my poetry in there, the basis is from the Bible. And I say the Bible is always a book that assures us that we have a lot to live for. There
Yes.
is hope in this life that we lead. Uh, there is something that we need to. I mean, God has already instilled something in us that we need to bring out there. So we always need to live our life knowing that it matters. So as a as a writer, my poems have always been to encourage people, like even when you face challenges, when you face situations that bring you down, I mean, you always need to get up. If you fall 6 times, you need to get up 7 times. So that's what I would continue to say to people in Zimbabwe. And when things are about to get better, uh, that's when you have most of the struggles, like the last kicks of a dying horse, as they say. So that's the same thing. Darkest at dawning, merriest in the morning. Yes.
Thank you so much. And anybody who wants to access your book, I know it's on Amazon. Um, is that the only platform where they can buy the book?
Oh, so it's on Amazon worldwide, and some of the big booksellers, they have it too.
Okay.
If you search the title Darkest in Dawning, Merriest in Morning, or just my name, Terence Razerera, and the book comes out, it will show you like the different platforms where it is. Pretty soon I'll be having an ebook
Okay.
on Kindle, and I know like I have many of my colleagues and family in Zimbabwe, they've been asking, hey, when are we going to get the book? It
Yes.
can be a bit costly to go the
Okay.
Amazon route, yes.
Yes.
But once the Kindle is out, I'll share it on my platform, Facebook, Instagram, and stuff like that, so that you guys can access it.
Great. There's a
Yeah.
young person who's there in Zimbabwe or elsewhere who's watching right now and has been motivated by your story and by your courage to actually publish a book. Uh, what would you say to them? They possibly don't feel encouraged because of maybe whatever they're going through, but they have a passion for arts, for literary arts, for writing.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I would say, you know what? Uh, you need to pursue your dreams. You need to. There is no dream that is too small. There is just a dream. You need to pursue that
Yes.
dream, yes. And there might be challenges right now. You might look at it and say, okay, if I do this, uh, is it going to bring food on my table?
Yes.
It's a valid question, but I would say, you know what, as much as that thing can be burning in you, you might shut it out for a while, but it still comes because if it's something that you're meant to do, you need to pursue it, and don't get the support. There's always some support structures that are
Yes.
around. Yeah, so you would just need to tap into that support, to those support structures, and yeah, you can never stop believing. You can make it. Yeah.
Great.
Mm.
Anybody wants to connect with you, social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram?
Oh yeah, so I'm old school. I'm mostly I'm mostly Facebook,
Okay.
but yeah, my Facebook name is just Terence Razerera.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you just search it up, you can access me there. Our Instagram is the same as well, Terence Razerera. It's got that what do you call that?
Dash underscore.
Yes,
Yes.
underscore exactly, underscore Razerera. So that's how you can get me there on Twitter as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we expecting any? I know this is still fresh. You still have a new book out, but are we going to see another follow-up or a new book later?
So I have like 3 manuscripts that I've already been working on, and I have to give a shout out to my brother-in-law Travis Chitsike. He's been my editor
Awesome.
for these books, and yeah, so sure. Once they are out there, I'll, I would say once this one has been out there for a while, and I complete the manuscripts, yeah, you'll be seeing a couple more of my writings, definitely.
Great.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you here on Air Ground. We always dominated by music, and we need something else. So I'm happy when I'm speaking to an author and a writer, because the reading culture is, I would say, in Zimbabwe is no longer where it used to be.
That's true.
And it's actually encouraging to start seeing new books being published. And what would be your response to the reading culture dying in Zimbabwe specifically?
Yeah, so reading culture is dying pretty much all over. But I'm glad that with technology there are certain platforms that are coming up. The generation Z or Z is living on their phones, on their laptops, on their iPads, and having those platforms like Kindle to access that's helpful. But I would say we just need to continue to encourage people to read, to encourage people to learn more about different things, and living in the diaspora like now, that's when you also have an appreciation of like where you're coming from, and to be like, what can we do to keep that culture of Zimbabwe known, going out there, teaching my children to really maintain speaking their Shona. It can be a hassle, but if you have those platforms which allow you to engage them, then we can keep it up. Yeah. So reading has to be something that we fight for, and make sure that our kids continue to be involved in it.
Make sure that your kids continue to be involved in it. I'm happy to see a couple of books coming from Zimbabweans living in the diaspora, and they've done so well. I know we've got a book that we've been reading every Wednesday from Miriam Kwendam Tize, who's based in the UK, and she published 2 books, Tete Volume 1, Tete Volume 2, and we've been reading it for the past 3 months now, every Wednesday. So
awesome.
It's great to start to see a lot of that happening. So
exactly.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. It was great to have you on the program, and we'll definitely keep track of what you're doing, and be able to speak to you again when something else comes up or when there's new developments.
Thank you, Plot. I appreciate you having me on Air Ground, and thank you to all that have been tuned in. And I wish you well in all your endeavors. Never stop believing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Never stop believing, keep dreaming, and make that dream grow like a bamboo, the way that I expressed it. Say, look, if it's a new, you can never kill it. It has to continue.
That's correct.
Growing. I've been speaking there to Terence Razerera, who's an author and an entrepreneur, and someone who's been working in education through his initiative ZW Teens in Zimbabwe, which has done a lot of career guidance and to young people in schools and communities over the past few years since 2010. Stay tuned to Air Ground, New Voices Amplified. We'll continue to connect with you and give you more artists and more guests. Next week, I have Michelle Jambo. You remember Dino Marunga Brothers? Yes.
Wow. I listen to that song pretty much like all the time. I mean, it's an easier way of listening to all the different artists, right?
Yes.
Because it's
the longest song in Zimbabwe, 25 minutes.
It is, yeah. On my drive to work, I can listen to it. And I'm like, okay, Wow, that's amazing. Oh yeah, looking
Right.
forward to it.
Thanks a lot. So I have his interview on Monday, so definitely look up to it. And until next time, thank you so much. Stay tuned, Ear Ground.